Very good morning, all of you, and welcome back to the today's session. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about designification and sterilization of water. So, this is the last concept of this unit, and which is related to previous session. So, very useful and wonderful topic. And the contents of today's session: introduction, next, a designification and sterilization process, as well as uh, another two water purification methods. Those are electrodialysis and RO, namely reverse osmosis. So outcomes of this session, student will able to understand uh, what is the designification. I mean, what is the process of designification and sterilization, and how the process carried out in electrodialysis and RO, reverse osmosis system, right? So let us entering into the introduction. So we already discussed in previous session the steps involved in purification of water. So there are steps. There are almost 5 steps involved, like screening, aeration, sedimentation with the coagulants, filtration, or etc. So after this process may be involved in purification of water, some of the pathogens present in the water. So in order to kill those pathogens present in the water, in drinking water, is called as designification and sterilization. So you know very well, sterilization is the process of killing of microorganisms or pathogens, bacteria present in the water is known as sterilization. So sterilization, the best example is boiling. So boiling of water for 15 to 20 minutes kill the all types of bacteria present in the water. So generally this method is not used in a municipal water supply. Why? Because there is a huge amount of water where the supply in municipality or sanitation department. So generally boiling is not takes place. So then what is the another remedy to kill the microorganisms or pathogens present in the water? So the next one best method is designification. So designification means the same process, the killing bacteria present in the water, here by using chemicals. So that is called as designification. So by using some chemicals, we go for killing the pathogens present in the water, is called as designification. So okay, designification takes place or carried out so many types. So one of the best methods is ozonization. So you all of you know that ozone treat, so that is called O3. When treated with water, what actually happened is the O3 is released as O2 plus O. Actually this O is called as nascent oxygen. So these nascent oxygen having highest, what you can say, highest reactive nature. Why? Because it is highly unstable. So that highest reactive nature, which is responsible for to kill the bacteria or pathogens present in the water. Okay, so that is called ozonization. So here the definition is ozone is an excellent and efficient designificant that destroy effectively all types of bacteria present in the water, so make it water safe. So this is the reaction what actually ozone is treated with the water. So when the ozone react with the water, instantly it releases um, oxygen as well as nascent oxygen. So this ozone treatment is generally costly. So we can observe ozone treated label on a Kinley water bottle or any other packaged drinking water. We can observe those label ozone treated water. So right. So this is the one of the best technique that is in designification. And next one is the best technique, the technique which are used in municipal water supply, that is called chlorination. So here the chlorination means the process of utilization of chlorine as a powerful designificant used is called as chlorination. There are so many types. Here there are 3 types of chlorination reagents, but I shown here only one type. So that is called adding of bleaching powder. So another two is chloramines or other chlorine. So this type of chlorination used to kill the bacteria present in the water. So the first example is addition of bleaching powder. So this is actually process which is used in a municipal water supply. So the bleaching powder is used as a disinfectant. Water is mixed with bleaching powder, so water allowed to stand undisturbed for several hours. So the chemical action produces hypochlorous acid, which is a powerful germicide. What actually happened is when the bleaching powder is mixed into the water, so instantly the bleaching powder react with water, it produces hypochlorous acid. So this hypochlorous acid act as a powerful germicide. So how the bleaching powder releases hypochlorous acid, we can observe in a reaction form. So see CaOCl2. So that is called as bleaching powder formula, calcium oxide chloride, and react with water to form calcium hydroxide as well as chloride. So this chloride again react with water to forms HOCl. This is called as hypochlorous acid. So this hypochlorous acid act as a best germicide. That means this hypochlorous acid kill all the pathogens or microorganisms present in the water. But there is some limitations that is called exceeds of bleaching powder gives a bad taste and bad smell to the water. So maybe you observe, right? And bleaching powder introduce a calcium powder, thereby the making more hardness. Maybe so here bleaching powder when react with water to forms calcium hydroxide. So all of calcium hydroxide which is caused for hardness. So that's what the limitations. So if the bleaching powder, if we mix excess amount to the water, it may cause us hard. So that may be turned to hard water. Soft water may be turned to hard water. So that some limitations may be we have to follow that mixing of bleaching powder to water. So that is called as break point of chlorination. So here the amount of chlorine required to kill the bacteria to remove the organic matter is called as breakpoint of chlorination. So how much amount of chlorine actually used to kill the bacteria present in the water? So that is very, very important. We have to estimate based on the amount of the water. So how much amount of the water we used, so that we can assume how much amount of chlorine is mixed per a particular amount of water. So that is called as breakpoint of chlorination. See, the breakpoint of chlorination we can observe by this um, graph. So on x-axis we take it as a chlorine, right? Chlorine dose in ppm, and y-axis we take it as a chlorine residuals in ppm. So what is the difference between chlorine dose and chlorine residual? Means here already explained previously, when the bleaching powder is mixed with the water to form calcium hydroxide, so that causes another problem, that is called hardness. So at the same time, so chlorine, how much amount of chlorine we used, and that chlorine gives another residual forms, that means to forms other substance, so that is called as chlorine residuals. So right, so you take a point. So point A, so the chlorine react with the metals to forms oxides, and if the chlorine amount is increases gradually, the chlorine residuals also increases. At the point B reaches almost all all destruction of all chloramines and formation of all chloramines, so that all the bacteria present in the water may be killed. So that, and here at the same way, increase the chlorine doses again. So if you gradually increase the chlorine doses, so gradually what actually happened at the point C reaches, so the chlorine residual decreases. That is called destruction of chloramines. So if you continuously the chlorine doses increases, what actually happened is the free chlorine residuals may be combined chloride residuals may be formed. So that may be called total chloride residuals. So this building up free chlorine residuals plus combined chloride residuals. So this free chloride residuals and combined chlorine residuals maybe causes another side effect in the water. So that, so here it is the C is the break point. So almost all here when the C point reaches, we need to stop the mixing of chlorine into the water, so that all the bacteria or microorganisms present in the water may be killed. So this is called as break point of chlorination. I once again repeat the definition of a break point of chlorination. So the amount of chlorine required to kill the bacteria to remove organic matter is called as breakpoint of breakpoint chlorination, right? So next, electrodialysis. See here, the electrodialysis is one of the method that is one of the best method, water purification. Actually this method is widely used in Gulf countries, so where the saline water is available there. So the saline water means peculiar taste water. I mean peculiar taste water, that means not too salt or not too fresh, medium taste water is called as saline water. So these the availability of the saline water in a particular areas, so those are used this electrodialysis method. So generally the electrodialysis is based on the principle that the ions present in the saline water and migrated to their respective electrodes through ion selective membranes under the influence of applied EMF, that is electromotive force. The process is called as electrodialysis, right? So what actually happened? So we take a water in a tank and we place two different electrodes into that different electrode, like a positive and negative electrode. So in that two electrodes, we just apply EMF, so that what actually happened, the ions present in the saline water, they moves towards across the opposite direction of the electrode, so that we can get fresh water in middle. So let us observe in a figure. This is the schematic diagram of electrodialysis. So the feed water is taken in three compartments. So in one compartment we take it as a one electrode, that is called anode, another one is cathode. So when we connected these two particular EMF, what actually happened is the electrodes, or I mean the ions present in the water moves towards the opposite direction. So right, so here we can observe, so this is a plus symbol, so that the minus ions are moves towards the this direction, likewise this direction. So we can get dilute water in the middle of the compartment. So the cathode side or anode side, we can get concentrated water. So this is the one of the technique that is called electrodialysis. By applying EMF, we can get a dilute water, right? And the next most important and the best technique, that is called as reverse osmosis. We can shortcutly we can call upon RO. So this is widely used in almost all areas. So we can observe in your areas also, small pans are there. So in that RO process going on. So what is RO? Okay, before go, see here, name itself shows that reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis. So that means what? Osmosis is going on reverse. So first of all, we need to understand what is the osmosis. So osmosis here, the definition will explain when two solutions of unequal concentrations are separated by the semi-permeable membrane. The flow of solvent takes place from dilute to concentrate side. So this is called as osmosis. What actually happened here? So when two unequal concentration solutions are separated by the semi-permeable membrane. So we take two different solutions or solution. Those are separated by the semi-permeable membrane. So here the semi-permeable membrane allows only solvent molecules from first direction to first concentrate to second concentration, or second concentration to first concentration. That means high to low, low to high, whatever it may be. That but here the semi-permeable membrane accept only solvent molecules from both directions, right? Okay, remember that point. So here what actually happened in osmosis? So the flow of solvent takes place from dilute to concentrate side due to osmotic pressure. So this is called as osmosis. So if you carefully observe here, what actually happened is solvent molecules moves from dilute to concentrate. Suppose we can reverse this. Why? Because in concentrate side we can have a highest solvent molecules. The solvent molecules means water. So if you reverse like this, if you reverse this phenomena, then automatically we can get more and more solvent molecules, that is called as water. So by applying higher than the osmotic pressure, actually osmosis takes place due to osmotic pressure here. So here, however, hydrostatic pressure is exceeds of osmotic pressure is applied on the concentrated side, the solvent molecules for reverse. So if you apply highest osmotic pressure on the concentrated side, so the solvent molecules are reversed. That is not dilute to concentrated. It reverse. That means concentrated to dilute. So that is called as reverse osmosis. So the solvent molecules is finally the reverse osmosis definition. The solvent molecules forced to move from concentrated side to dilute side across the membrane. That is called as reverse osmosis principle. So reverse osmosis method is pure solvent separation from the contamination rather than the removing of contamination than the water. So the membrane filtering is called as super filter or hyper filter. So the main role play in a reverse osmosis is semi-permeable membrane, right? That is observed in a diametric way. So here you can observe this picture. So this is salt water and this is a fresh water. So that means what? This is a concentrated and this is a dilute. So that is separated by the semi-permeable membrane. So this semi-permeable membrane will accept only solvent molecules from high to low or low to high. So here we can observe, sorry, we can apply the pressure. The solvent molecules, those are in salt water, moves across the semi-permeable membrane to form fresh water, right? So this is the tap water, and I have present in the um, bacteria, pathogens, virus, or etc. turbidity residuals. So here the membrane, it allows only pure water, right? So this is called as reverse osmosis, and this is the one of the best technique and widely used in across the worldwide in order to purify the water. So you can observe label on a Kinley water bottle or Aquafina or any other packaged drinking water, RO. That means reverse osmosis. Right here, there is some advantages. You can observe that improve the taste and odor and appearance, and a highly effective purification process will remove the pollutant listed above and more and consume no energy. Very very little bit energy is consumed in order to apply the pressure, and very convenient, and flushing away pollutant, do not collect them, easy to clean, low producing cost, give water gradually quality and basis and per gallon, right? So these are the advantages of a RO system, right? So let us go to the assignment. Check it out. What is the break point of chlorination, and write about electrodialysis and RO. Hope you understand. Thank you very much.